Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, May 13th. It is 6:24 right now. Market's gonna open in about 6 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Got a few things here to update and we should be good to go. All right, looks good. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, as people join in, I'm gonna go ahead and start market liquidity over here. Back, but never works. All right. So I got that there. Down to the 8 hour. Down to the 4 hour. Down to the 2 hour. Down to the 1 hour. Down to the 30 minute. Down to the 15. Down to the 10. So it doesn't look like we have any upper level liquidity right now, guys. Yeah, I mean, the closest one's pretty far off. So we're pretty far off from there. Anyways, I've just marked up liquidity over here, guys. Closest level of liquidity down below is going to be at 39,695. I don't think there is any upper level liquidity that's, close enough. It's too far. So that's pretty much it. Liquidity is down here at 39,695. That's the closest level of liquidity. Let's go over here to the clean chart. I'm going to mark up 6:30. Mark up 8 o'clock. We had a big bullish push this morning. So it pretty much wiped out the liquidity that was sitting there. So there's not really much to work with now with regard to the upper levels, but it should be fine. So let's look at structure over here. Structure up there. I'm not going to mark this 4-hour structure. It's too big. Go down to the 1 hour. I mean, there's not much structure here at all either. Lower structure. Yeah, there's a lot of lower structure, but not very much higher structure. All right, so there goes a clean chart. Let's go over here to our main chart. I think we had some news this morning at 6 o'clock, and that's pretty much it. So 6 o'clock, which was right there. All right, guys, market is opening up in about 40 seconds. We've marked up liquidity here. There's no upper level liquidity that's nearby. We only have this lower level right here. Looking at our clean chart, we don't have much structure that's nearby either. So we'll mark that up as price moves along here on open. Looking at the ATR right now, it's currently at 6, so it's about normal for pre-market. Price is starting to pick up and move right here. And we got the market opening up in about 15 seconds. So we'll see what happens here when the market opens. Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, May 13th. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend. Back to get back into this trading week. So, all right, guys, market is now open. So here goes the opening candle. I'm going to mark this blue, of course. So we got that there. Price is pretty bullish. I mean, it's been bullish since this morning, as you guys can see here from the clean chart. Price has been pushing up since London session. So even before London session, since market open, actually, it's been super bullish. We'll see if it holds. All right, so now we just wait. We got to wait for the market volatility to pick up. It's currently at 9 ATR. It's picking up slightly, but it's not there yet. Typically, you want it to be around like 15 ATR. As you guys can see down here, it's still at 8, 9 ATR. So the volatility is not super high. Market's moving here. We're getting some of this open manipulation. But you probably want to give the market some time to breathe. As you guys know, on Monday, we typically use Mondays as feeler days. We like to see how the market moves, because typically, however the market moves today is how the rest of the market's going to move for the rest of the week. So we got this higher high that's kind of pushed up. This might be the higher high, might not. But if it is, we'll mark some structure up here. I think the zone here might be a little too big, so I don't know if I'll mark up the entire zone. I'll mark up a portion of it. Yeah. A portion of it like that. So I'll come back and take a look at that. We have a higher high that's established right there. We have a lower low here that is currently pending. So if this becomes the case, I mean, this might just be the range, between this area here. But we will, we'll see. And we just gotta wait for the market to kind of stabilize a bit. Once it stabilizes, we'll have structure to kind of follow. And we also want the ATR here to pick up, still at 10 ATR. So it's picking up slowly, but it's not there yet. We want it to be at 15, somewhere around 15. We don't have any more news for today, I believe. We have news at 8 o'clock, but that's going to be towards the end of the session, so it's not going to be too relevant for us. We do have Fed Mester speaking and Fed Jefferson speaking. I don't know if they're still speaking, but they started speaking at 6 o'clock. They typically speak for like about 30 minutes to an hour. So they might still be speaking, might not. But we'll see how this here, kind of moves through. Let's see. Nick said there's a high level momentum. I don't see any momentum here, Nick. Yeah, I haven't seen a momentum come up yet. Yeah, Madhu said he saw the double body and the divergence, but he skipped out on it because it was against the trend. Yeah, so there was a sell signal here. Divergence swung up and it swung back down. And that could have been opportunity there for a momentum divergence. If you didn't care about the trend. For me personally, I still want to go in the direction of the trend, so I'll be looking for any possible opportunities, in that direction. All right. So still nothing here, guys. We're just waiting for the market here to stabilize a bit. We have this lower low here that's currently pending. If we have a new high that establishes, this will be established as the lower low. But until then, we're just going to sit tight and wait. Let's see, Andrew said join late, but CNBC reported Dow rising. So we got CNBC news over here, breaking news. They reported this at 6:33 just now. So stocks rises, Dow builds on the best weekly performance of 2024. And of course, as soon as they say that, price comes crashing right back down. Straight manipulation right there. So guys, keep an eye out for CNBC. Thanks to Andrew for mentioning that. I didn't even take a look at that until now. But as you guys can see, they reported that the Dow was up and the Dow came crashing right back down immediately after. It's typically what happens when they report stuff. So looking over here at the fundamentals, the fundamentals are currently up 100 points. So they're currently bullish right now. I guess you could say they're about bullish neutral. They're not consistently above 100 points, but they are at like 89 to 100. So we'll say bullish neutral. Looking over here at retail sentiment, the retail sentiment is still very high, as you guys can see over here. Retail sentiment is currently 74% short. This is pretty crazy because price just keeps climbing. So in my opinion, I think price will continue to climb today. You might get this like bearish push slightly, and then price will correct back up with time. I think eventually price will swing back up. So just be careful for the sells here if you guys are looking to take them, because there's a lot of retail sellers in the market. So I'm not expecting price to really drop. It might come down a little bit to give these guys some hope, but I think long-term price will continue climbing. So I would personally look for some buys here, but I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens shortly. Let's see, Nick said kind of odd. I saw the exact news report 37 minutes ago. Well, this thing updates, Nick. So like it might have been the same headline, but you can see over here every couple minutes there's an update here. Yeah, so 38 minutes ago, it said Alliance Bernstein sees Apple rising 28% in bull case. So that's probably what you saw this morning, Nick. But 3 minutes ago, it said stocks opening higher. So this was the update. This is just a trend. It's a thread. So it's a thread, and they keep updating right here. So you might have seen this an hour ago. It said stocks making the biggest moves pre-market. That's probably where you saw the GameStop thing. Yeah, it just updates throughout the day. So there's still no direction yet, guys. If price does drop below, I mean, that's completely fine. We might be able to start looking for something, but if not, then we'll look for it to swing back up. As you guys can see, price is currently rejecting off news price, and the session's down below right here. It's having trouble getting past it, but we'll see if it actually closes below. Look out for the fake out here. So you can see price is kind of coming below right here. Look for price to fake out. So look for it to come down a little bit, fake out, and swing right back up. That's kind of what I would expect here. Or if not, my price can keep dropping. It's fine wherever price goes. I don't really care. But look for the fake out. I think the fake out will probably happen, most likely. Just because of the sentiment. The sentiment's just way too high. They're not just going to drop price and let these retail traders win, or they might let them win a little bit, but eventually it's probably going to swing back up. And you can see right there goes the fake out I just mentioned. So double body rejection right here. This is a reversal pattern. If this candle closes green, this is probably going to swing back up. All right, so we got the candle here closing green. You have the V1 variation double body rejection right here for reversal. We'll see if this fake out here plays through just like we anticipated. All right, so we got another pending lower low right here. Once we get a new high, this lower low will be established, and I can create structure here. on the on this lower end. So if that becomes the case, then this here could be the current range for today. Well, we'll see. This lower low is still not established. So in order for this to be established, we need to get a new high. So we need price to push up a little bit, establish a high, then come back down and establish the range between this area. So until then, we still got a lot of time here. And if this continues to drop lower, this lower low is just going to get pushed down further because there's still no high here. So it looks like that's what's going to happen here. So you can see this lower low just got pushed down. At that point, this is no longer going to be support. The lower low just got dropped a bit further. But again, another fake out. See how price is wicking back up? This whole area down here is an area of manipulation. This is why you don't trade around the sessions. Again, another reminder for the new people here. Any of these lines that go from left to right, you don't want to trade around this area because this is where manipulation happens. It doesn't matter if you're trading for a sell, if you're trading for a buy. You can see how price gets manipulated right here where it just kind of spikes back and forth, comes down, spikes up, comes back down, spikes back up, etc. It's going to keep consolidating around this area until it decides to correct back up or continue dropping lower. So you just got to wait and be patient for it. The entries are going to come to you. It's just going to be a matter of time until they do. But again, see this right here, price faked out, pulled right back up. And now it's attempting to swing back to the upside. So you can really get faked out in either direction. You can chase it for a sell, think that you're getting lucky, price swings back up, stops you out. You can chase it for a buy, price swings down, stops you out again. So it doesn't really matter which direction you trade in. This is just not a good area to trade. Let's see where the sessions are at. So most of the sessions are down below here, guys. So I would prefer price to stay above because if price stays above, we can trade around this middle area here. And if price climbs up higher, we can trade above this middle area right here as well. So there's more opportunities for safe trades up to the upside versus the downside because the downside has a bunch of sessions down there. So this looks like the actual fake out. You guys see this nice fake out right here. Price came down, faked out right here, pulled back up, faked out again to stop people out. Basically a double wick, or not a double wick, a double fake out. So it faked out right here, swung back up. And then as people chase the buys right there, it stopped them out. And then now it swung back up right here. But now we have a lower low and a lower high here. So since we have those two high lows, we have a low then a high. In this situation, you know for sure that this low has been established at this point. All right, so we got structure right here now. Now you guys can see where the range is currently sitting. This is the resistance, this is the support. And price is pretty much just going to sit around this area here until it decides to finally break out above or below. All right, we got market structure right here. We don't really have much liquidity. Liquidity is down below here. So if price decides to continue dropping, the liquidity will be down here. Otherwise, we'll see if we can catch some trades in between this area here. So Vince over here caught the V1 for ATR. Nice for Vince. So Vince caught the double body, the earlier one right here that kind of faked out. And he got it for ATR. So it looks like he might have went for a pretty decent move there. All right, we have the pending buy signal here. Pending buy signal, and we'll see if this here pushes back up. We don't currently have a established trend right now. The trend was shifting. So what I'd like to see here is I'd like to see price kind of push up a little bit. Get that buy signal, price pushes up a little bit, keeps climbing, maybe retraces a little bit and comes back up. And then maybe catch entry at some point over here or up here. All right, we got the buy signal right there. Price is now starting to climb up a little bit. We need to kind of confirm that the trend here is going to swing back up. It's not there yet, but it is swinging back up as we speak. Thanks, Madhu. But he said there is a pending sell signal on the 5 and 10 minute time frame. Good to know. All right, so we got price pushing back up right here. We'll see if the trend confirms. If that's the case, the 5 minute here will probably, there's no more sell signal there, of course. Now that we have price pushing back up. Let's see, Donovan said, hey, Sean, what's up? I have a trade. Have a trade ever opened on NinjaTrader automatically? I took a big loss. I don't know how the trade happened. That's never happened to me before, Donovan. The only thing I can think of that would have caused that is that you had a pending order open from like last week. Like you probably had an order that was just sitting there and it triggered it right now, or you might have misclicked on the chart. I know if you click on I don't know what you're trading on, if you're trading on Tradovate or on the NinjaTrader platform, but sometimes if you click on the chart, it sets a pending order. So it's never happened to me because I never click on the chart. I usually have my mouse off the chart. But if you accidentally click on the chart, like sometimes there's like a quick, like you can quickly set a pending order. Like if you just click on the chart, you can set a pending order somewhere, and that's probably what happened. Either that or you had a pending order that was sitting from last week. Because sometimes if you don't flatten all your orders or you don't clear them all out, then it's still sitting there. Because I've heard of that happen. Like the issue that you ran into, I've heard of that happen before in the past, but it's only because people have like pending orders still sitting up. Like for example, if you're entering an order and then you manually set a TP stop loss and you don't close it out once your TP hits, your stop loss is still sitting there. So when it comes back down, it triggers their stop loss and then it goes into a new order. Because it's not a stop loss that's connected unless you make it an OCO order. Those are all separate orders that are on your chart. Donovan. So I'm not sure what the case could have been, but from what I've experienced, that's usually what happens with people who have the same. I've heard your story, like that's happened to a lot of people. It's a common thing, but it's usually because they have a pending order that's still up. Because when they place their TP stop loss, they don't set it up as an OCO, which is it's an open close, or it's a closed order where they're all connected, and it ends up filling at some point that they don't really expect. So I don't know. That's all I can say, Donovan. It's never happened to me, but because like whenever I exit whenever I exit my trades, I click flatten all. So I make sure everything's closed and there's nothing on my chart at all. To make sure that it never happens. All right, so I'm looking for a momentum divergence here, guys. Price is swinging back up. So I'm looking for price to come up, come back down, or even consolidate for a little bit and then correct back up. That's going to be one thing that I'm looking for. Another thing that could be coming up here would be a MPS entry. We need price to push a bit higher, though. It's too close to the opening price right here. All right, we got price pushing up right here. I'm going to keep an eye out on the divergence down here. Also, maybe take a look at the MPS. ATR is currently at 12 right now, so I don't think we'll be able to take an MPS. It's low volatility. It looks like the best case scenario would be a momentum divergence. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no problem, Donovan. Sucks to see that happen, but that's for the most part, that's kind of what I've seen. Because I've seen other people mention it and then they think back and they're like, oh crap, my stop loss is still sitting there from last week. Yeah, because if you enter manually, like sometimes if you enter manually, it's not an ATM, and then you put your TP stop loss. Like say, for example, you enter a trade right here, but you put no TP stop loss, and then you manually put your TP stop loss like right there and right there. So if your TP gets hit, this order is done with, right? But what happens is this order is done with. But what happens? Crap. This order is done with. But what happens is this order is still pending there. It's still waiting. So that's what happens. And then when it comes back down, it fills in. You don't realize it's still there. And then you end up going like completely opposite. That's typically what I see. HP, I'm still using 1025. Been using 1025 for like past couple months now. Volatility is too low. I mean, you can use 1030 if you want, but 1025 pretty much is fine. I just don't want to take too much risk because the volatility is so low that it's not really necessary to have it that high. Each candle is moving like barely anything. But if you want to be extra careful, you know, a 1030 can also work. It's just up to your preference. For me, I'm using a 1025 still, unless volatility picks up. Then I'll switch to a 1030. All right, so we got price kind of consolidating right here. This is normal. My contract size will be nothing near yours, HP. You're not on a 300K account, so my contract size does not relate to whatever you're using. You have to use whatever you're using for your account size. Unless you're using a 300K account, which I highly doubt. You know, it's not gonna. You have a 300K, then you'd have to. Well, depends on which one you're using. Are you like what's you're on Apex or using a different broker or funding company? Because I'm using 20. You probably shouldn't use 20 unless you're like absolutely certain that you're going to be able to be confident with the trade. Because if you lose a trade on a 20 contract, you're going to be in a hole, right? So I'm using 20, but I wouldn't recommend it for everybody. Because what I've calculated to where if like I can lose 3 back-to-back trades, which I don't expect to lose, but I mean the risk is high because if you make a mistake and you take something that you're not supposed to take, or you hold on to a position, or your TP stop loss is too high, like for example, if you're using a 30 point stop loss, then you probably shouldn't use a 20 contract size. That's why mine's set to 25. So I use 20 just for now, but eventually I'm probably going to taper down. I'm going to taper down to maybe like 10, maybe even lower than 10. Right now I'm taking higher risk because I'm trying to accelerate the process because the 300Ks take forever to pass, guys. If you guys are doing, yeah, 10 is cool. I think 10 is fine because, so let's see, if you do the math, so 10 times 5 times 25. So 1200, 1250 basically. So 7,500 divided by 1250. Yeah, so you have double opportunity for risk. So for me, I only have 3, but you could have 6 back-to-back losses before you have before you reach your trailing drawdown. So I think 10 is cool. 10 is cool. For me, I'm just kind of, I don't want to say I'm rushing it because I'm really not rushing it. It's just I'm trying to get through this as soon as possible. All right, so the market's just ranging now, guys. So let's go back over here to our clean chart. As you guys can see, there's not really much going on. So I drew the structure here earlier from this morning when market opened. I draw this resistance right here at 630. You can see our price came up, rejected off the resistance right here, and then came right back down. So we have the resistance up here, price just bounced off it. We have the support down here. And price is pretty much doing nothing. We're having basically a repeat of last week. Yeah, I was hoping we'd have some more directional movement this week, but it's not really looking like it. Price is pretty much doing the same thing it's been doing for the past, I don't know, or I guess like the past 3 months now. Yeah, the past 3 months, it's unusual because during the springtime, market should be moving very volatile. It should be pretty much in full swing, but from February up until now, price has pretty much been in this range pretty much every day. I mean, we're still able to catch trades during this range, but it sucks because there's only like 1 or 2 trades a day, right? Typically we have like, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades a day, but the volatility is very low, as you guys can see from the ATR. I mean, it's pretty obvious that the market's slow. Yeah, exactly. Jacob said lately the market has been moving a lot better and trends after 11, 12. Yeah, later like mid-session. I've noticed that too. We're just in a different type of market right now. And it's really unusual. I think the reason why that's happening is because people are just scared to trade in the morning now. Like typically, everybody would trade in the morning, right? All the market makers, institutions. I feel like in the morning here is where they kind of manipulate market a little bit to basically wipe out a lot of the retail traders. I mean, the retail has been getting pretty much destroyed all month, right? If you guys have been following retail sentiment over here, I mean, even right now, it's still pretty high. Retail sentiment's at 74% short. So pretty much all last week, the week before that, like this has been bearish for the past couple of months, but price just keeps climbing higher and higher. So retail traders keep getting stopped out and they're just not taking it anymore, right? Like most of the retail traders are just not trading in the morning anymore. They're kind of just waiting for the market to pick up and then they go and look for opportunities there. There's a V1 variation that's setting up right here, guys, if anybody is looking to take it. Personally, I'm not going to take it. I'd rather wait for a momentum divergence to come up. Or if I saw a V1 variation and the divergence was already shifting, I would have taken it. But right now, there's just not enough confluences for me to want to take this trade here. So you can see the trend here is bullish. You have a double body rejection right there. Yeah, and there was the BB3 right there too that Sadie and John just mentioned. I didn't even notice there was a BB3 there. I didn't even take a look at the PRB. One second, guys, sorry. I didn't even take a look at that for today. So market opened over here. Rejection, space. So there's still no PRB here, but the BB3 looks like it did come up right here. It's not looking good at all. I mean, who knows? It might come right back down. There's still a lot of space there. But yeah, that's the BB3 that's currently right. I'm not in this position, of course. We're just looking it over. The PRB still hasn't come up yet. The trend confirmed right here. Actually, I take that back. The PRB did come up right. So the trend confirmed right here. The rejection happened right here. Space, and then the confirmation. So you have the PRB and the BB3 running against each other right now. This is the PRB for a buy, and this is the BB3 for a sell. This is a bit of a tricky market here, as you guys can see. Yeah, it's pretty tricky because the PRB is here for a buy and it's running up. BB3 is there running for a sell. Here's the V1 variation that I just mentioned earlier, currently running right now. CJ said there was a high level momentum at 644. I think this would be a little tricky. I mean, yeah, I can see what you're looking at, CJ. It's a little tricky because this candle right here, I can't tell if it actually closed above it. This one right before it, right? Little tricky. But I mean, yeah, if you wanted to take it, that would be a high level momentum scalp right there as well. Nice. So Vince over here caught the V1 again as well. Nice work, Vince. Vince has been killing it with the V1s today. Caught two V1s for full TP. So there goes the V1 variation. This is the only thing that I probably would have been looking at possibly. There's a V1 variation reversal pattern here for a push back to opening price. But because the momentum divergence wasn't aligned, it wasn't a trade that I personally would be okay with taking, at least not okay in the sense where I would feel super comfortable taking it and not be worried about the position. So the PRB is still running right now. BB3 did not work out today, but the PRB is still active right now. I'm looking for my scalps in between. Gotcha. Okay, CJ. Yeah, so if CJ saw that live, then it probably closed below it and it probably met your criteria. So yeah, nice work right there if you caught that for the push. Yeah, Ross said Roaring Kitty is back. Yeah, I saw on CNBC. Yeah. So it says GameStop shares soar 80% and are halted as trader Roaring Kitty, who drove meme craze, resurfaces. Damn, so they just halted GameStop? That's fucked. That's crazy. Well, hopefully he causes volatility in the market. They should pump one of these like blue chip stocks that are in the Dow. Pump something that we want, like pump something that we're trading. Um, but yeah, no, it's interesting. It's interesting to see him back. But so the thing with that is that now that he's back, it's like I don't know how it's gonna play out. I don't think it's gonna be as clean as it was last time when he kind of pumped it up, right? Because the thing is, a lot of these because a lot of the things here, I'm just refreshing my chart so that I have it's not up to speed. Yeah, I don't think market makers or institutions will really allow for it this time. Like I think they're gonna cut it pretty short. Like if he tries to pump anything, they're gonna be right there to short it right away. I think like back then they thought it was all a joke, so they kind of just let people pump it up to the point where it got too high. Now, obviously they're gonna stop it before it even gets anywhere. Yeah, exactly. Next step, this is all FUD. Yeah, it's just manipulation in the market. They want people, they're probably manipulating people to hop into GameStop, right? At this point, they're just pumping it up themselves. Like CNBC is pumping it up themselves so that people will hop into it. As soon as they hop into it, it's going to come crashing down, right? That's the crazy thing about it. So just be careful what you guys are following. Make sure if you guys ever take a trade or you try to hop into something, make sure that you do your own analysis because it could just be straight manipulation. Yeah, I mean, I don't believe anything CNBC says. CNBC is basically Fox News for finance. They have good news, but it's not news that I would follow to make trades off. I would just read what they have and then see how market reacts to it. But I wouldn't necessarily say like if they say to buy something, I'm not necessarily going to buy it. Or if they say to sell something, I'm not going to sell it, of course. All right, so we got price kind of coming back down right here. This looks like it would have been a momentum divergence, but the trend wasn't really confirmed yet here. So we had a sell signal here. Price came down, divergence came up, and then it swung back below, like right here, I guess, or right here. One of these candles right here swung down. Let me scroll over here real quick. Rewind to this candle. Okay, it was a falling candle. So this right here could have been a momentum divergence, but there's no trend here for a sell, so I wouldn't have taken it for a sell, at least not yet. But again, there's nothing going on here. As you guys can see from my structure that I've drawn here on the clean chart, price is just ranging within this range right now. From this resistance to this support, price has just been sitting there. I drew up this range on market open, and it's pretty much respecting the range right now. All right. Liquidity is pretty far down below, so it's got a ways to go until it gets down to this point here. And the main thing to focus on would be this clean chart here, because this clean chart pretty much identifies where price is going to be trading. I'm okay with trading in between this area. There's just no entries that are coming up. And we saw a couple of V1 variations earlier that evinced to like this one over here and another one before. And then CG identified this right here as a high low momentum scalp as well. We had a lower low right here, buy signal broken, close past pivots 1 and 2, and then it climbed back up. So if anything, maybe look for some high low momentum scalps. I mean, there might be one right here if there's a buy signal that comes up. There's just not enough space because if you do take a high level momentum scalp right here, it's going to have to hit opening price. So personally, I would prefer price to come down a bit lower. Maybe even fake out again down here. Hit the support, come back up, and then provide a high level momentum scalp around that area. And there's just nothing going on today. There's no news today. Tomorrow we have PPI month over month, core PPI month over month as well, PPI year over year. So we got inflation news tomorrow, pre-market. That's probably going to push price around. And then we have Fed Chair Powell speaking at 7. Man, tomorrow's a lot of news. So tomorrow's probably going to shake up the market a little bit. We don't have much going on today, but tomorrow we have a lot of news. We have PPI, inflation news, and then we have Powell speaking at 7 o'clock. So I don't even know if I'll trade tomorrow. If we do trade tomorrow, it's going to have to be like pretty early before Powell speaks. So like before 7 o'clock. Wednesday, we have a ton of news here, CPI. So this is CPI week, guys. It's basically all inflation news this week. We have PPI, CPI, we have Powell speaking, we have jobless claims on Thursday, building permits, and then Friday is pretty much a slow day. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is going to be a little crazy for the market. Tomorrow's going to start to pick up with the CPI news or PPI news, and then yeah, Powell's going to speak on Wednesday. And we got CPI that day. Yeah, it's going to be a volatile week. So I think that this is probably why the market's so flat right now. The market's super flat because nobody's really messing in the market right now. They're waiting for the volatility to pick up tomorrow. But there's still going to be opportunities here. So I'm going to keep looking for an opportunity here if it comes up. You know, I'm pretty sure an entry is going to show up at some point. It's just going to be a matter of time until it does. The ATR is just very low, as you guys can see down here. ATR is currently at 10. So whenever you see the ATR this low, this just indicates that price is going sideways. And that's exactly what's happening. Like you can just look at the ATR here and not even look at the chart. And you can already tell that the market's going sideways. So you look over here on our clean chart. That's I mean, literally what's happening here. It's just going back and forth. It's not even ranging anymore. It's just consolidating. So it was ranging initially. And now it's just going slower and slower into consolidation right here, which is a good thing. I don't mind the consolidation, guys. The consolidation means that price is just setting up for a breakout, right? Once it starts to squeeze within this area, it's going to break out. So we really just have to be patient and wait for this here to actually move. Yeah, exactly. Drew said the pivots are almost straight. Yeah, the pivots are literally going straight right now to the side. So there's like literally no trend here and no direction at all. We got the pending buy signal right there. MJ. Yeah, Medu said we need volatility. Hopefully the sell signal on the higher time frames close so price can choose a direction. Maybe we can get a bullish push with the pending buys. Yeah, I agree with you too. Medu 100%. So I was hoping right here, you know, we'd get the consolidation and price swings back up, and then we can get the momentum divergence. Well, I mean, it looks like we could still possibly get it. It's just, again, the ATR is too low. So I was looking for price to maybe come down a little bit so that we get this divergence to the downside. And then once we get that divergence to the downside, have it swing back up. And then just give us enough space right here to catch a quick momentum divergence, right? Just a quick 10 points in and out. We don't have that yet, but we'll see if it picks up here. Oh, this is actually a high level momentum scalp, guys. Thanks. See, I didn't even notice that. So there's currently a high level momentum scalp that's currently running right now, guys. I didn't even realize that this was a high level momentum scalp until now. I mean, it's already going to hit TP. It's too late for me to enter, else I would have entered it. But yeah, it's a little too late now. Damn. There's a lower low right here. Buy signal broken, close past pivots 1 and 2 right there off this buy signal. And this here was a high low momentum scalp entry. Yeah, I guess we'll follow it. It's a little too late for me to enter it. If I noticed it down here, I probably would have been okay with putting a buy stop right there and catching it as it swung up. But at this point, I'm just gonna wait. Yeah, the way that the price is currently moving right here. I mean, if you guys want to enter into the high low momentum scalp, you guys technically still can from this point here because it's now in drawdown. I'll get in right here. So I got in for like a little. I got in for at a discount because price is below. So the TP is at 51.
Order submitted.
So I'd have to move this down by 1 point. Stop that. The volatility here is just really low. I was looking for the divergence. That was like the main thing that I kind of wanted to come up from here, but the divergence just never kind of came down. It's just going sideways. So we'll see where this goes right here. But this here would be a high low momentum scalp. That's still currently running. I mean, if anything, I might not even hold on to it. The ATR is way too low right now. See, CJ said he took it later. There's no direction here. So let's go back to our clean chart here. There's nothing really going on. As you guys can see, price is kind of just consolidating around this middle area right now. Pretty far from liquidity. All right, I guess we'll just follow this range here and we'll see where price goes from this point. But it's just consolidating around this middle area right now. See, the PRB is still running. So the PRB has actually been running for a really long time now. Yeah, the PRB is still running. We got our clean chart over here again. Price still within the range, consolidating around this middle area. This could be setting up for a V1 variation down here, another lower low. Double body rejection. So there goes another V1 variation pattern right there. So let's see if this actually pushes up higher from where it's at. Got 10 seconds here for this V1 pattern to close. I mean, it's rejecting off the pivots, so it's kind of having trouble here. This also is setting up for a CB entry. But there's no trend, so you can't really take the CB unless there's a trend that's established here. The market looks like it's just frozen right now. All right, so there's nothing going on. I mean, price is still flat around this area. Still, there is a V1 pattern there. There's a V1 and CB pattern right there. ATR is currently at 10, still pretty low. Not really too much movement. Price is coming down a little bit. We'll see if it comes down and tests the support down here. It looks like that's probably where it's going to go. Another V1 pattern right there below, double body rejection. Now it has a sell signal. This market sucks. So I think today will probably just continue to be a little slow, guys. It'll probably be a little slow, and then it'll probably pick up again tomorrow. I think the first news is at 5:30 tomorrow. Let's see. Yeah, PPI month over month tomorrow at 5:30. Oh, fuck, I got stopped out.
Stop, Phil.
All right, it's all good. That was a FOMO move. I probably shouldn't have entered that late, but I had a feeling it was going to push up. There's just confluences pushing to the upside. I don't think anybody else hopped into this with me, but I got to take that loss and I just got to move along. So unfortunately, I entered this trade right here for a loss. It was a high level momentum scalp. It just wasn't a great trade, but I felt like it was going to push back up because there was so much space right here. And then the PRB was still running as well. So it's all good. I'm going to eat that loss, but that's something that I probably should have skipped out on. I just felt comfortable with it because all of the other high level momentum scalps were hitting. Like we had this one over here. This one hit full TP. Which other one came up? But basically, yeah, this one over here came up, and I was still convinced to take the buy here. It's just I took it, ended up losing. So I'm going to count that as a loss right there. Another FOMO move on my end. I don't know, scalp. So there goes my loss right there, unfortunately. It's all good. All right, so we will see what happens here next. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it just shoots right back up from this point. And it kind of did what we were expecting. So I said here, price might come down, bounce off the support, and shoot right back up. I mean, it's just respecting the support and resistance here at this point. Yeah, Vimal said the trend was blanking, so he sat out. Yeah, I mean, the trend's been blank for a while now. You can see over here it's going sideways. Let me just take this off so it's not taking up the entire screen. But yeah, the trend here has pretty much just been going sideways up until now. And, same difference. Yeah, Nick said makes sense. I get why you entered. I was hesitant, so I decided to sit out. Yeah, I mean, I should have known better because the trend was like when it was going flat like this, I should have known to not take anything at this point, right? Because it just goes against like our style of trading. We trade in the direction of trend, but there really wasn't much trend here. The high low momentum scalps, I mean, typically like this one is fine because the price was still moving back and forth and there's volatility. But the problem with these over here on this side is that I mean, obviously it wasn't, right? Yeah, exactly. Nick said, yeah, pivots were too close for sure. So if you guys are looking for something else, I mean, there's possibly going to be a momentum divergence here. The only problem is that it's going to be right at the session. So I don't think there's going to be anything you can take here. For me personally, when I take a loss for the day, guys, I'm done. So I'm not going to be hopping into any other trades for today. I'll keep looking for opportunities, but for the most part, I'm not really looking to take anything here specifically because that's my trading plan. So by doing this, it prevents me from blowing accounts, right? So if you guys have a problem with blowing accounts, I think setting a cap or setting a limit for how many losses you could have per day is going to make a huge difference. Because if you lose once a day, you're probably going to revenge trade, right? Like, for example, I could easily revenge trade, but I'm not going to because that's pretty much my trading plan for the day. So this prevents me from revenge trading, over trading, making stupid decisions that I might regret later by not taking any other trades. But there's a possible momentum divergence that's coming up right here, guys. So if anybody's looking for it, there might be a momentum divergence that may come up here. You can see there's a sell signal. Divergence is bearish, price swung back up. If this candle here closes red, this could be a possible momentum divergence entry for a sell. So that's something to look out for. If it does, it's touching the sessions though. So again, actually probably no entry there because of the red flag. Yeah, so there's no momentum divergence there. The candle didn't close red and it did not come lower from here. So we got here. All right, so the market still isn't doing anything. We got the swing back up right here. We still don't have the divergence to the downside. So I mean, the divergence can still come up for a sell, but there is yeah, there's just nothing going on here. Jacobson got kicked out. Guess that's my sign to be done for the day. Yeah, I mean, there's just nothing to take here, guys. I mean, if you guys want to sit around and wait for the entry, there's probably gonna be an entry that will come up, but um, I mean, there's just nothing going on here. It's just going sideways. I mean, it looks like price is moving here, but it really isn't. You go over here to the clean chart, and you can see there isn't really much of a direction. I mean, you could technically trade within the range if you really wanted to, but I mean, personally, it's tricky. Kind of like what happened here with the momentum, the high level momentum scalp. This thing it didn't have enough push to reach its TP. It got back into profit slightly, but it didn't have enough push to actually reach its TP. So yeah, it's just a matter of time. All right, Vince, let me see what the numbers are looking like here. So I don't think what's the I think it's 5,000, right? So it's 5,000 for 500K, 12 contracts is 1,500. Just responded to you. Yeah, if you're using 12, you're gonna have three backs back, kind of similar to what I'm doing. But if you're gonna do 10, you have a bit more, 5,000 divided by. Yeah, you have four. So I mean 10 would be safer, but you could use 12 if you want. Like, I don't know, what's the profit goal for that? So profit goal for 9,000, 12 times 5 times 600, 15 trades. Yeah, I mean, I guess it works. Just depends on how fast you want to do it. Because if you do 10 times 5 times 10, 500. I'm only off by like two trades. So, I mean, it's just up to preference. All right, so there's still nothing here, guys. Nothing's going on. Don't worry, you guys are not missing out on anything here. It's the same thing that we've been looking at. It's back and forth range. Let's see. Next, it's still their sell signal right from us. Yeah, Medusa might get a push to liquidity below if price breaks below the support zone. Might be a triple confluence for a sell. What do you think, Sean? Price keeps coming down. I mean, it would have been solid if the sell signal would have came below this lower low, but I guess it pretty much got bunked. You bunked that analysis right there because it didn't. Yeah, it didn't come down low enough. Ah, man, smart game. I was hoping we get some volatility here on Monday, but it's not really looking like yeah, it's not looking like it at all. It's just too slow. You can't really take anything here. Even if you wanted to take something, you kind of would be stuck and it's in the consolidation here. Like this PRV took forever to hit, guys. I mean, it's a breakout strategy, and it took like over 30 minutes for it to get to that point. Um, yeah, there's just no volatility here. The ATR is super low. Price, I mean, they'll have like random spikes of movement here, but for the most part, it's just not really, it's not really working. So we might get yeah, Medusa could still possibly get a high-low scalp and divergence. That's a possibility. The only thing right here is that the sell signal came up and it wasn't bearish already. So this is going to be the first swing to the downside. You would have to wait for it to swing back up. So I mean, technically, yeah, it can still come up. If it does come down a little bit, retraces up, and then comes back down, then yeah, you could possibly get that divergence. Because the divergence is already happening, right? Or it already happened on this previous candle. But in order for it to swing back up, it's probably going to push up higher. I think it's just going to sit around the sessions right here. Yeah, CJ said last week was Cinco de Mayo Monday. Today's Mother's Day Monday. I know, right? That's why the market's so slow. It was just like this last Monday. So last Monday, same thing. Coming back from a holiday weekend, market was just like pretty much dead. Again, right now, same thing. I hate trading holiday weekends. I should have thought about that. I didn't really think about that until you mentioned that, CJ. Forgot. Let's see. Nick said feels like it really wants to push for the all-time high with all the other news and Fed speaking. Yeah, I agree. I agree. For those of you guys who were on Thinkorswim, uh, they moved to Schwab, so I'm not sure if anybody was trading because I all my investment accounts are on Thinkorswim. Well, they were on Thinkorswim, and now they are on Schwab, which I'm trying to figure out how to use. And this app's pretty cool. So all my stocks are like super decently up right now. All right, so we're starting to get some movement here, guys. We are starting to get some volatility over here as price continues to tumble its way down. I mean, this could be a high-low scalp if anybody's looking to take it. I wouldn't take it though. The candle's too big. It's too big. It might have to retrace a little bit. Yeah, I think this candle would have been too big anyway, so you wouldn't be able to. Or no, it's still. I mean, it still works. If anybody really wants to take it, this would be your high-low scalp. But it already tested on this previous candle here, so it'd be kind of a tricky entry for you to take. It's not a clean break. Like if this one over here broke, this one with the huge wick, it would have been a lot better, but this one here came after. And there's no divergence. So what I would look for here personally, if you guys are looking to take the entry, is one second, guys. Gotta sneeze. So if you guys want to take an entry here, you probably want to look for the divergence back up and then correction back down. Thanks, EJ. And these like the weather has been kind of weird here too in California, so I've been getting like a lot of my allergies been acting up. It's still pretty cold here. It's usually warm by now. Like usually February, March starts to pick up, and then it's been kind of cold lately. Weather just up and down. All right, so like I said over here, guys, we have the retracement right here. So we're getting that retracement. You guys can see from the divergence down here. The ATR is still pretty low, but we are getting that retracement and divergence. See if it actually closes with the divergence there. Yeah, so the divergence there actually happened. The only thing with this here is that the volatility again is like kind of slow. It's kind of slow. So this thing might be swinging back down. Looks like the divergence here might confirm. So if this here closes, it's got to close as a pretty decently strong red candle though. Divergence here could close in the next couple seconds here. All right, so let's see. The divergence there looks like yeah, it filled right there actually. So that's where the divergence would have happened on the close of that candle. But again, the volatility here is still pretty low. As you guys can see, the divergence happened, but the main thing here is that the ATR is so low that it doesn't really have much push for it to spike down like it should. Yeah, exactly. Nick said way too iffy on that divergence, barely even closed below. Yeah, so what I was saying over here is if this candle here was to close like below, like at some point down here, and it was pretty strong, then it would have been good. But because of the because of the low volatility, you're kind of getting like this like half-ass divergence, right? That's kind of like that's probably the easiest way to classify it. Because the divergence wasn't strong enough. Like it would have to be something like this where it kind of spreads out and it's pretty clear. You guys can see over here. Like a divergence like this is pretty clear, but a divergence like this right here, it's the candle didn't close as far below as it should have. Like if it closed farther down here, then okay, great, right? You have a strong red candle there, and the divergence there would have split, and it would have just came right back. It would have came down even further, but because it didn't, the divergence here wasn't really that strong. I mean, there might be another divergence that may come up here, but going off the one that we just identified right here is kind of tricky. I mean, this whole market's kind of tricky for today. I mean, it looks like price is just consolidating down this lower point. It's now broken below the support, but it's now kind of just sitting down here and consolidating, of course. So, I mean, this looks like a trap here, if you guys look closely, because price came down below the support level, kind of trapped below this point and consolidated. And now it's just kind of going sideways. And now you're trapped in between two sessions. Yeah, between the New York high right here and the Asia high right here. So it's just, it's not a good area to be in at this point. So I'm kind of glad that I wrapped it up earlier. I mean, there was nothing else for me to take anyways, obviously for me to begin with. So we got 7:38 right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. There's just no entries here that I would have been okay with taking or think anything that I would have, like if I was still to trade right now, there's nothing that I would have been likely to take. Even for this high-low scalp. I mean, this high-low scalp here, as you can see, this is what I was discussing earlier. So if I go back over here real quick, let's just replay to this candle. So there were different levels right here that you could have looked for a high-low scalp. The only reason why I wouldn't look for that next break was because this candle here pretty much spiked them out. And then when it spiked them out like that, it ended up, it just ended up pretty much invalidating the high-low scalps because this candle would have to close below there. And then this candle came up after, and then it was like a huge candle. So these pretty much were invalidated as high-low scalps. And it would have been an entry that I would have wanted to take. Plus, there's no divergence there. The divergence already kind of swung below. Now, looking at this divergence over here, we were looking for this here to cross below, right? And I mentioned if this candle here closed down here, this divergence would have been stronger, which it didn't, and it wasn't. So unfortunately, that's like one that I would have skipped out on as well. So I mean, what it looks like here, I mean, it just looks like price is just going to go sideways over here. So here's a markup from the clean chart. It just looks like price is probably going to go sideways around this area. Eventually, it'll probably break out and go somewhere, whether it be below, whether it be above. But for the most part, there's just nothing here. Let's see, PC is asking if the 8 a.m. news is important. I think it's low impact, so it's not very important. It is consumer inflation expectation, so it's low impact. So they're forecasting it over here for they're forecasting the inflation to go up by like 0.1%. So it's low impact. It's just kind of a head start to like what's going to come this week. It's just showing what the consumers expect inflation to do, which is pretty obvious. I mean, everybody's pretty much expecting inflation to go higher. We're not really ready for it to come down yet. So that was expected, and that's why it's low impact. So it's not really anything to be worried about, but it is still a news event nonetheless. So you should probably like keep that in mind. Let's see, HP is asking, you had a mentoring session where you discussed how you have your trading business set up. Do you or anyone else remember which one it was? I don't remember, honestly. It was one of them, but I can't remember. If anybody remembers which one that one was, feel free to chime in. I know some, or let's see, I don't think I put any titles for that one either. Yeah, sorry, HP, I don't have that there. I'll probably set up another one. So I have a module in the course where I explain where I'm going to be explaining like how to set it up as a business. And I'll probably just give like an update rundown, but it's pretty much the same concept. Like it's not anything crazy. It's the same concept for any state in California. But yeah, I'll break it down so that you kind of have an understanding of like how to set it up and stuff like that. But you just go to the state website, or you can pay like some legal company like LegalZoom to do it. I wouldn't recommend doing it through them because they charge for everything. So they're going to charge you to set it up where it's like super simple. Usually it's just a form. Like you go to your state website and then it's just a form there. And then you just do like 2 forms and you get your EIN. But if you're international, it's different. So I can't really help with international. I think you're in the US, right, HP? So I think you should be fine. As long as you're in the US, the stuff that I'm going to explain is pretty much, it's generic. It's just generic. You sign up at your state website. And it's pretty straightforward. So I think I'll start producing those videos sometime soon. Maybe like once I have finished like studying for the test. I still got to take that test too, guys. So that's like my main focus right now. That's why I haven't been having mentoring sessions or anything like that. So I've been studying for my my Series 3 exam, the exam for the hedge fund. Hopefully I get that over soon. I'm at this point where I just want to take the test. I'm not fully prepared for it, but I'm going to keep taking practice tests and I'm just going to take it because there's like some sections where I'm not good at, like a lot of the more complicated math. And I'm just going to guess on those questions because I just need 70% anyways to pass. So I'm probably just going to memorize and get good at what I can, play my strengths and kind of wing my weaknesses, and then hopefully get that over with. That's pretty much what's been taking all of my time up. I've been studying for that test. And then once I'm done with that test, I can go back and I can just produce more videos for the course and then also go back into mentoring with you guys weekly. If I'm also the easiest country in the world to set up a business is the UK. How so, Amal? Is it just automatic? Because it's pretty easy here in California too. It just costs a lot. Nice, just 3 hours. Yeah, for us here in California and like most states here in the US, you just have to fill out a form online, pay the fees, and pretty much go out of business. Super simple. They've been kind of late though lately. Like when I started my hedge fund company, it took like a couple weeks for them to actually get back to me, which was like surprising in my case. Because usually they approve you like right away, especially if you've had a business before. All right, so we got a sell signal over here, guys. Price is coming back down. I mean, if you guys are looking for a momentum divergence, there may be opportunity here for it. Um, Gotcha. Yeah, Pamal said it's like 50 pounds to sign up over there in the UK. Well, that's better because over here in California, you have to pay for the fees, and then you also have to pay this franchising fee, which is like super expensive. It's not super expensive, but it's expensive for a normal person. It's like 800 a year, I think. It's kind of a ripoff. They kind of look for ways to charge you for things that are like unnecessary. But all right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to hop into the chat. Right now, we're currently looking for a divergence to come up. So we got the sell signal. We got price coming down further. We have a possible divergence that could be setting up here. But yeah, other than that, there's not really much else here to look at. We got about 14 minutes till 8. Here's our clean chart. Price again is below the support, and it is dropping down even lower from here. New support right there too. All right, so price is currently sitting right here below this point. Let's see if it actually carries lower. Let's see. Let's see. Next hit high-low scalp off of momentum. Yeah, so there's a high-low scalp that came up right here, guys. Looks like it's currently running. So the price is finally coming down, it looks like. So, like I said earlier, guys, I mean, I probably should have waited a little bit longer for my trade earlier this morning. I got FOMO into that high-low scalp that I took earlier. But you guys can see that the market does pick up a little later, and eventually there will be opportunities that will come up. But then again, it's still a tricky market. So you can see over here, it's still pretty tricky as price kind of fakes out. So this area right here, you also want to be careful with the fake out as well. But I think price will probably keep dropping from this point because it looks like a continuation is now confirmed. So you can see we were in this big range earlier. Price faked out right here, pulled back up, and then a continuation down. So it'll probably keep dropping. I don't know for how long, or I don't know how long it'll take. The ATR is even lower right now. It's currently at 9 ATR. So that's another sign to maybe just sit out of the market. Because it looks like it's now trapping sellers in the market here now. It dropped a little bit to like lure in the sellers. Now that the sellers are in the market, it's now probably going to go sideways again for a little bit. Like that's how you can tell that the market is faking out, because if you look at the ATR here, it hasn't really picked up. If you see a big drop like this, look for the ATR to actually pick up. It actually did the opposite. Like it picked up, it dropped here, but the ATR actually got smaller. With consistent movement like this, the ATR should have gone higher. So instead of going from like 9 to 10 to 8, it should have went from like 9 to 10 to 11. So just keep an eye out on the ATR. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't even want to trade anything because it's like it's at the bare minimum right now. I think anything below 10 is like it's no man's land. You should probably just sit out of the market. There's no reason to be hopping into anything and then get stuck in this position that's going to go sideways for like the next hour. It's probably gonna go sideways for the next 30 minutes to an hour because the ATR hasn't picked up yet. Yeah, exactly. Nick said, agreed. When the trade opened, just sat at opening price for like 20 seconds. That was kind of wild. Yeah, Nick said he's done for the day. Nothing with this close to 8 o'clock with its low volatility. Yeah, there's just no point. So, all right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat right now. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up for the day. There's not really much else to look at, as you guys can see. Fortunately, I took a loss for the day, which happens. And I'll just bounce back from that tomorrow. Looking over here at our team profits, we got Theta over here. So Theta took a couple buys over here off the analysis, and he locked in a total profit of 9,600 ZAR. Nice work, Theta. So great work right there. He followed the analysis from today, caught that dip, and then caught the correction back up off the support level. We have Natasha over here, total profit of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, total P&L, right? Okay. So total profit of about 500 for the day. Nice work, Natasha. All wins. We've got Kenneth here, total profit of 1,195. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 accounts, so well over 5,000 for the day. Nice work, Kenneth. We got Madhu here, total profit of 295 for the day. All wins. Nice work, Madhu. So you guys did pretty good. I mean, you guys caught a lot of decent entries here and there. You know, you guys caught some V1 variations. You guys caught some of the small moves. That high-low scalp over here actually finally played through. It took a while, but it looks like it did play through. The high-low scalp that you guys were looking at. Yeah. Took some time, but it did spike down there and it went straight through. CJ said, hey, Sean, are you still trading tomorrow? I heard you say otherwise. I'll be on. I'm probably going to trade, but like I said, I'm going to try to trade before Powell speaks. So like Powell speaks at 7. So we're going to try to get some trades in before. I mean, we can still trade when Powell speaks, but we just got to be careful for like the spikes in price because obviously, you know, when he speaks, there's going to be random spikes. So if the volatility is too low, I'm obviously not going to take any trades. I'm going to watch for the entries, but if the volatility is kind of going flatline, you probably don't want to enter a trade because Powell can say something and it'll cause price to spike. But again, like I said earlier, guys, you know, if you guys just wait for the proper entries, the entries will come to you. For me personally, I got some FOMO up here, so unfortunately, I have to eat that loss for the day. And I'll just bounce back from it tomorrow. So that's about it for now, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, we'll be back here tomorrow for the next live session as we continue on with this trading week. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. And if you guys have any questions,